Good morning, everybody. This is Ricky. Welcome to Hope for Today. There is one line I want you to rehearse throughout today. Here it is. I am special. I am special. I'm going to say it one more time because I want you to get this in your spirit today. I am special. Now, don't go running down the avenue too far. I am special does not mean I am better. It just means that when God thinks about you, when God looks at you, you need to know that joy fills him when he thinks about you. You need to know that when you run across his mind, that there's nothing but a smile that beams across the face of God. Why? Because at the end of the day, our God, although he is mighty and magnificent, omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent, at the end of the day, God is just a good old dad. And you're his kid. And what good father who perceives upon his children does not have a heart that fills up with joy and love and pride? What does that mean? It means that you are special before God. And I say this because I know that I'm not the only one who sometimes wakes up in the morning and gets ready to start my day, and I just start to think about, man, this person's over there doing that, and this church is over there getting that done, and oh my gosh, that family's able to do those things. And what ends up happening is I start to begin to kind of measure myself from a horizontal perspective of comparison to others instead of a vertical comparison or perspective of what God has to say about me. Have you ever been there before? And what ends up happening is when you play that game to think about yourself and measure yourself, not based on what God said, but what they're doing, you end up being killed by comparison. God told me to tell you to rehearse the good news of the gospel that God is your daddy and you are his kid. And for that purpose alone, you can walk together with a humble pride, if you will, that says, I am special too. In fact, in Psalm 139, King David is celebrating this fact that even though he's got all of these ups and downs in his life, at the end of the day, he's created by God, and therefore he is special just like everybody else. Verse 13, for you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. And I love this part. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. He says, I am not just a run-of-the-mill average Joe, but the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords took time and knit me and made me and put the things on me and put the things in me that he wanted so that I would be able to show up uniquely in this world for such a time as this. And so I ask you to step into your speciality, for you are God's kid. You say, Ricky, I'm not enough. That's exactly why this is such good news. Because he made you. He is enough on the inside of you. And you're one step away from truly acquiescing to what it means to be your God-ordained destiny before him. Here it is. Let Jesus do the driving. Let Jesus do the driving. Story is told of the Pope. The Holy Father is leaving from the Vatican. He has to go to the UN to do a talk in New York City. However, his flight gets diverted to Newark, New Jersey. He is now very late. A limousine driver comes to pick up the Pope, and they're now rushing towards the UN. Of course, the Pope is very concerned. He is late for his big speech, and of course, the limo driver is driving ever so methodically slow, and the Pope is looking at his watch. That's right, popes have watches. He's looking at his watch, and he's saying, sir, can you not drive any faster? And the limousine driver says, I'm sorry, Your Holiness, but I've got too many tickets and I can't get another speeding ticket. I need this job to feed my family. Finally, the Pope says, well, why don't you swap with me and let me drive? The Pope gets into the driver's seat and the guy is now in the back seat, and the Pope is driving like Mario Andretti. I mean, he's cutting corners. He's running red lights. He is going crazy. Finally, to New York City, where New York PD sees this limousine driving crazy, pulls them over. There's two police officers there. One gets out while the other stays behind. The one cop goes back to the limousine, takes a look into the window, closes his ticket book, and goes right back to his car and sits down. His partner says, what's going on back there? Didn't you give those guys a ticket? He says, nope, that guy is way too important to get a ticket from me. And he's like, come on, dude, who is it? It's not like it was the mayor or something. The police officer says, no, way more important than the police officer. Guy says, well, who was it, the governor? Police officer says, no, dude, he was way more important than the governor. He says, well, he couldn't have been more important than the president of the United States. Police officer says, trust me, this dude was way more important than the president of the United States. He's like, well, man, who could be more important than the president of the United States? To which the police officer replies to his partner, well, whoever it was, the Pope was driving him. The idea is that you find your speciality when you let your Father do the driving in your life. And whenever Satan tries to pull you over with comparison, he has to roll up his ticket book and keep on going, because you're God's child and you're special. And that's hope for today. I'll see you next time.